Hi everyone, Thursday today, the 6th of January, the day after my birthday. 56 I was yesterday, and there we go, another year older. Time's going quite slowly at the moment, isn't it? How do we stop the panic? How do we stop the panic? Do you remember what it was like at the beginning when people were buying up all the pasta, all the flour, petrol stations? Remember the petrol station panic? You know, petrol's not running short, so don't panic everyone. The first thing everyone does is go out and buy petrol. Crazy, absolutely crazy. The more you tell the public not to panic, the more they seem to panic. They think there's something at the back of it, so they need to stock up. So I don't know. Maybe that's the case. Yeah, weird one. But I think enough's enough at the moment. I think this Omicron has gone on for long enough. Did you know that 10% of the country are now awaiting treatment for other ailments like cancer, all sorts of issues, awaiting surgery, treatment to start? They're waiting for responses to other things. 10% of the country, 6 million people in the United Kingdom. That's a lot of people, isn't it? 6 million people. That's a lot of people. Wow. 10%. That's a lot. And all because we're putting all our eggs into one basket. The whole world is doing it because they've got no choice. Once you start going down a road, you have to keep going down that road, don't you? And that's what's happened, I think. I think that's what's happened. Because as long as we're all vaccinated and boosted, we've all got to take our chances. I'm sorry, my mum's just had COVID. My mum's just had it. And she's pulled through and everything's gone alright. She's been vaccinated, boosted, and it was just like getting a heavy cold for her. And that's what most people are going to be like. The ones who are really, really vulnerable, I don't know what to say. You know, people do die every year from the flu. People pass away all the time from getting diseases that are too much for their vulnerable state to overcome. And what do? What price do we put on that? It seems at the moment we're putting everything on it. And, you know, I'm not an anti-vaxxer at all. I've had 2 jabs and my booster. I've had 3 vaccinations. And I think now that everyone's been vaccinated that can be vaccinated, or wants to be vaccinated, I think we have to just take our chances. That's my opinion. I'm really sorry about that. It's my opinion. But we can't have things closing down all over the place. There's shortages of staff everywhere now. So if you're going to work, if you're going to a theatre show, let's say, one evening, and let's say some of the staff in the tube station or a station or bus drivers or taxi drivers are off sick, then there might not be the staff out there to get you to your destination in time. And therefore you're late, or again, perhaps some of the cast, perhaps some of the backstage have got Omicron or COVID, coronavirus, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same thing. And they've called the production off or something. It's just crazy. We're going to get to the stage soon where it's going to be... We're already getting to the stage when you don't need to self-isolate anymore. We're going to get to that stage very soon. You don't need to self-isolate. You just got to take your own chances and make your own decisions on your own health. So you stay off work if you're not ill. You go back to work. That's going to be the next step. I promise you. That will be the next step. It'll be lack of self-isolation. And it has to be. It has to be. People have been going to work with colds all the time, and they've been giving each other colds at work. But we haven't been isolating against that happening, have we? Ever? About giving colds to work? No, we haven't. And why is that? It's because some people just take it on the chin. They shouldn't really go to work with a cold, but sometimes you have to work through a cold. So let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens. Look at Djokovic. That's news out this very morning that the Australian Open, Djokovic, now as I said, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. Djokovic is exempt from vaccinations. Now, we don't know why at the moment, because apparently he hasn't given his reason, or his people haven't given the reason for him not to be vaccinated. Whether he's an anti-vaxxer or not, we don't know. So we have to give him the benefit of the doubt at the moment. But what is clear is that Australia, which has been persecuting its own citizens who are anti-vaxxers, who haven't had the vaccine, who are exempt for whatever reason, they've been putting them in jail and all sorts, self-isolation, and punishing them for not vaccinating. And you've got Novak Djokovic at the moment, the #1 tennis player in the world, who's not being given a visa to enter Australia because he hasn't met the vaccination standards for Australia, which is very strict. So it looks like he's not going to play in his tournament. I don't know. I think we have to wait till Monday, don't we, to find out the result of that or something. I don't know if that's going to be too late if they let him in on Monday, but we'll have to wait and see. But there we go. Just got to wait and see what happens. And that's another example of someone that really ought to be allowed to play, because tennis is, I mean, you're quite isolated in tennis, aren't you? And it must be quite easy to isolate if you need to. It's in the open, it's out in the open. I know Australia is actually the Grand Slam that's indoors, funnily enough, but it's a very, very high ceiling, and so it's a bit like being outdoors. And I don't think it's going to go anywhere as long as the ventilation's fine. I don't see the problem with it, so let him play. But there we are. It's another example of how it's affecting things going on in everyday life. And you know, I haven't got much time for anti-vaxxers at the moment, because that is their own decision. They're not medically exempt. It's their opinion. They don't want to be vaccinated, and that's fine, but it's your own lookout. And apparently a very, very large percentage, 90% is it, of people that are in hospital at the moment through COVID are anti-vaxxers. That can't be a surprise. The hospitalizations, if you've had the vaccine and the boosters, is very, very low indeed. And so I don't see why we have to sit around anymore and call things off if too many staff get it. I know it can be fatal, but it's only fatal to people that are vulnerable, very vulnerable. So if they got an equivalent disease at the moment, they probably wouldn't make it through or something, I don't know. And the fact that we're allowing this disease to be controlled by wearing face masks and so on and so forth is a little bit unfair when you think of all the other diseases that aren't being controlled, like the common flu, the colds. I know we have a vaccine for the flu and people have taken that. And that the efficacy of that is much lower than COVID. The COVID efficacy is 95%, isn't it? I think flu's only 55% effective. But we'll take that one. So let's get back to it. Come on guys, we've got to get back to it. And we can't have any more theatre shows closing down because of this. We really cannot. Okay, that's my rant over for the day. Stay safe, stay well. We'll be back. We kind of are back. See you later. Bye.